Hello, everybody. Welcome back to another episode of Hop on Calls. Today, I have with me none other than Morgan J. Ingram, who I decided to wear. Rep the brand today, Morgan. What do you say about that?
No, I love it. I saw it, y'all, and then I was like, I gotta rep this as well. This is to keep dialing. Y'all know what it is when I first started out. So we had to rep it, bring it back, and I'm excited to be here.
Awesome. For those of you that don't know Morgan, you're probably hiding underneath a rock because he's a bit of a rock star in this space. He is a guy who's been a sales trainer, influencer for a long time. Morgan, why don't you give your background? What have you been up to? Why are you here?
I mean, you had a good start, so
Yeah.
All right, what's going on, everybody? Hopefully everyone's having a blessed Tuesday here. So yeah, I started off as an SDR. Most of you maybe have been in that role, or maybe you've seen that role before. And I started off there, created content, then moved into being an SDR manager, and then it really just went from there. So then I ended up becoming a sales trainer with John Barrows, which was a great time, learned a lot there, and now I'm off my own building my thing. So a lot of background in this cold calling space, done a lot of trainings and workshops around it. So excited to be here and see what we got going on.
Love it. So for the audience out there, I did catch Morgan off guard by asking him to be on a cold calling show. He's in the middle of building his own thing. You're not doing any consulting right now for clients, so you don't have a list. You're not going to be calling today, right? But
I am not. But
you tell me.
I will be calling in the future.
There we go. We're going to try and have you back on. We're going to have you back on when you launch your offering. I'd love for you to tease more about that later in the show, by the way, and point anyone in any direction that would make sense for you. But I'm going to be dialing. We're going to do a little bit of a switch up here where I usually cold call for myself, and it's brutal. Let's be honest. Like, I sell directly to founders and CEOs, and calling founders and CEOs is brutal. They have very little tolerance for anything, and they're on and off the phone a lot. So we've had 3 or 4 episodes in a row where I'm getting slammed on pretty consistently, and I'm only having one good conversation an episode. So we're going to switch this up. I do consulting for a cybersecurity company called Silver Sky Technologies. They do everything in the landscape of cyber, so it's a little bit difficult to try and suss out what they do, but I worked with the team to build a really good call script, borrowing some of their leads today. So I'm going to be having conversations with IT leaders. So this is going to be a little bit more applicable for you folks out there that are selling actual software products as opposed to me selling my consulting. So I like when I get to actually put on the hat. And, Silver Sky helped them hire, and we have a team of 4 SDRs that might be tuned in today that are going to watch me do what they do all day, every day, live on LinkedIn in front of everybody. Let's do a quick little mic check. 1 2 1 2. If you could hear us on LinkedIn, try to drop a comment, drop something so we know you're there. Comment section. Here we are. There we go. Shout out to Lauren.
Lauren, what's good? What's happening?
Love it. Okay, so we are live. That's good to know. With no further ado, I'm going to jump into my queue. Once again, I'm calling IT leaders. I'm going to be using Kixie today to make my phone calls. Shout out to our sponsor, Kixie. All-in-one telephony provider for any business out there, but they also have a power call feature set, which is going to allow me to make a high velocity of phone calls in a short period of time. So I'm really excited about that. Oh, here we are. Love that. Shout out to the ATL.
Hey, ATL. ATL in the house. Shout out to Atlanta. Born and raised. Holding it down still. Let's get it. Not a lot of people. This is rare, Kevin. Rare, Kevin, that people actually are born and raised from Atlanta. It's like we're probably 0.001% of the population.
It's a little bit like San Diego that way, honestly. Like when you meet people in San Diego, they're like me. They're like, oh no, I'm from LA. Oh no, I'm from Northern California. Oh no, I'm from. And then they end up in San Diego. So it's like, is anyone actually from San Diego? Is anyone from Atlanta? Like actually from Atlanta?
No. So I'm actually not from the actual city of Atlanta. I'm like 20 minutes outside of it. But everyone just says Atlanta. Keeps it easy. Keeps it simple. But same thing.
Hot Atlanta and the Falcons did not make the playoffs.
Look, so 2 things you said there. Hot Atlanta. If you actually have been to Atlanta, don't ever say Hot Atlanta. If you come here and say Hot Atlanta, it's gonna be a problem for you. I'm just trying to let you know. I'm trying to protect you. So I'm protecting you. If you want to do that, like do your thing. I told Larry Long the same thing. I was like, don't do it, man. you'll get in trouble. 2 is the Falcons are trash. I don't even watch them. I'm a UGA fan. I went to UGA. That's all I watch. I do not watch anything Falcons related. I just know they're just trash. Ever since Super Bowl.
Good few years for you as a UGA fan, huh?
Yeah, I'll take that all day long. The only thing I watch is UGA. If it's Falcons, my dad and I are like, loss, L. We don't even go to the game. We don't know it's a team anymore. We're just like, they're playing. Traffic in the city, just traffic. That's all they do. They just create more traffic. So that's how I see it.
Tom Brady really did that to you guys, huh?
Tom Brady messed us up. The only way he can redeem himself is if he comes. He just got knocked out. So if he comes to Atlanta and wants to redeem himself, we're excited. But that's about it.
We'll see what he does. I'm in the queue here, so my phone is ringing in my ear, FYI. So if I start talking, just know that I'm live with a director or manager of IT. I'm a Charger fan, by the way. From Los Angeles, live in San Diego. I moved here when they were still in San Diego. Then they went to Los Angeles. So I reserved the right to for the Chargers. That was a historic loss. The L of all L's, some people might call it, this past week.
It is the L of all L's.
I was at a party, and everybody around me was like, in the first half, like, oh, yeah, like, dude, look at him. Like, oh, Jacksonville sucks. And, oh, yeah, you're going to win so easy. I'm like, no. It's a 4-quarter game. It's a 4-quarter game. And I kept saying that, and I hate that I was right about that because 27-0. Morgan, 27-0, and we lost.
28-3 in the Super Bowl. Look, I get it. I've been there.
Yeah. No lead is safe in this league. No lead is safe.
I like Herbert too. I like him a lot as a quarterback.
The guy can sling the rock.
He just has Keenan Allen, the stick figure, hurt all the time.
Yeah, if we can get the ball to Keenan Allen, it's good. We fired our offensive coordinator this morning, which is good. Just so everyone knows, I am 12 dials deep, waiting for people to pick up, calling cell phone numbers here. We should be getting one. We should be getting one soon here. But, yeah, we fired our offensive coordinator today, which I think is a good move. But offense wasn't like the Lauren, boo Jags. Jags.
Yeah, hostile takeover.
You guys are about to run into a buzzsaw called the Kansas City Chiefs. Like, I didn't think the Chargers had that smoke to beat Kansas City anyways, you know? Like, Kansas City's going Super Bowl this year. They're going all the way.
Yeah, I think they're going all the way.
Yeah, really talented football team. But thank you, Lauren. Appreciate the sorry for your loss. I appreciate that. Fired our offensive coordinator. We should have fired our defensive coordinator, by the way.
The Chargers just need a better. I don't think the Chargers have ever had a good defense, except when they had what's his name?
Sean Merriman, baby.
Sean Merriman. Yeah, I was like, that's the last time I remember them being good. Dude was lit, right? And the LT was like, that team was crazy. Should have won.
Yeah, it was like 2000, 2008, 2009, 2010. They were really good. I wasn't a Charger fan back then, man. Like, I didn't care because I was from LA and we didn't have a team. I grew up without a foot. Like, I've got a tragic football story. 21 years in Los Angeles, no football teams. Grew up kind of a Bears fan. My dad's from Chicago. And then
you're the Lakers, though.
San Diego. Dude, yeah, we had the Lakers. Yeah, so I was a big Laker fan growing up. Yeah. I'm not saying – I'm saying football story, not sports story.
No, I know.
Because I also grew up watching the Dodgers, and the Dodgers sucked, man. They were terrible for years and years and years and years until they started finally winning World Series. And they're winning the World Series when I'm in San Diego rooting for the Padres now. So, whatever, man. Chargers going to make it one day. I'm up to 22 dials. I'm hitting a lot of voicemails here today. I don't know if anyone else out there is having trouble getting connections. I was actually dialing with the Silver Sky team. Hey, is this Ken? Hello? Come on. Got a false positive connect. We're going to redial.
Okay, I thought we had someone. I was ready.
I call this the double tap. I'm calling him right back because I thought that he connected there. Global Director of IT. This would be a good one. And he's not going to pick up on the double tap. Come on, Ken. That's weak. That's really weak. All right. Well, moving on, back in the queue, on to 26 dials now. Yeah, so I can only imagine, one of the things, Morgan, that we talk about on this show is to get outbound sales right. If you're going to do phone, right? And if you're going to do phone, you should probably take it seriously. And if you're going to take it seriously, it really is people, trained to people, having a process, and technology. Like if you're doing this one by one, I mean, after I hit this hang up of this voicemail in my ear, I'm on 28 calls in a row without someone picking it up. Now, take every one of those 30 seconds and multiply it. If I wasn't using technology, that would take me 3 times as long.
Oh, 100%. You got to be able to really understand, especially with what you're calling right now, like IT security. Like you almost have to have it at this point.
That's right. You would really hate to not have technology in place. So while we are waiting for a connect with this historically bad connection rate, which you gotta love, doing a live show, you run into stuff like this. Morgan, talk to me a little bit about. It's a new year. It's January. What are you seeing as like emerging trends or the leading trends in outbound sales for 2023?
Yeah. So, when it comes to trends, it's like what I believe is a hypothesis. We'll see if it remains to be true. I'm going to go ahead and go into what my answer is. I'm curious what everyone else thinks as well. So in the comments, what you think the trends is for outbound. I'm just curious on your opinion. I'm not going to hijack your opinion. I have mine already. So I have like 3 things. So one is that I think that there will be, if you could do this correctly, by the way, you got to do this correctly. Because if you don't do it correctly, like I can't help you. I actually think if you were going outbound, and we're doing it right now, and it's not just because I'm saying this, I think the cold calling will make a comeback because I think a lot of people right now are just like, you know what? Cold calling didn't work for me like during COVID, post-COVID, 2 years after. I don't want to do it. People aren't picking up the phone. So there will be, I think, less people making cold calls, which means if you're able to
Hey, Kathy? Hey, Kathy. Kevin here with Silver Sky Technologies. Did I catch you with a second to have a cold conversation? She hung up? You kidding? All right. Double tap. Coming at her. She picked up the phone and said, hey, this is Kathy. Oh, fantastic. Sent me right to voicemail. Immediately to voicemail. All right. So anyways, we are making live cold calls here, people. So it's going to be kind of random when the introductions happen. So you think
we're good.
A bit of a comeback is what you're saying?
Yeah, I mean, look, if someone disagrees with me, you can message me or comment. Like I'm open to that conversation. But here's the thing, and we're not saying that because we're just here. Like I'll always say what I believe. So you just have to think about like what I always think about what people are not doing, right? So if people are not doing something, that you should maybe consider. Maybe there's an opportunity. And I say maybe because there's some things that you just should not do, right? Like you shouldn't pitch and connect. That's probably something you should do. So my thing is people are going to do it less because they're like, we got to think about our generation, right? Gen Z, millennials, way less likely prone to call. Most people never use their phone to call anymore. So I'm thinking you just don't have the skill set to actually make calls because that's not how you grew up, right?
Yeah.
So the amount of people making those calls will be low. Now, here's the thing about cold calling that also is an obstacle, right? You got Apple who can now look at spam risk. Okay, that's a thing. I'm not going to be like, I don't know that. But the key here is that when you're making these calls, if you do get someone to pick up and you're proficient, you're going to stand out because I don't think a lot of people are doing them right now. But this is just what I've been hearing. My hypothesis could be off. I'm just saying I actually think that's going to be a really big trend. Number 2 is, and when I say this, don't like roll your eyes and be like, oh, like I need to go do all these things. And it's not creating content. It's to be within your LinkedIn network and be engaged. That doesn't mean that you need to go create videos and all that stuff like that. You can if you want to. And I know a lot of people have been doing that. You just need to figure out where your audience is and engage them. That could be, hey, I see you posting. I'm commenting. I'm connecting with people. I'm in the DMs. And that's where you're going to win. Because just because a lot of people aren't posting on LinkedIn doesn't mean that they aren't active. So you have to be thinking about, how can I just be digitally everywhere without you don't even have to post a lot. It's, hey, can I do DMs to people? Can I ask for referrals? Can I ask questions? Can I look for advice? Like that outbound will create just a spiral effect, because now you're going to be able to touch different people without you having to do all those different things. So that's going to be big. And this one will be interesting for you all, because I just said it. When people think of outbound, they think of like cold emails, they think of cold calls, and I'm always a fan of cold emails for sure. But this goes with emails, is asking for referrals. It's still like an outbound strategy. You still got to reach out to someone to go get things done. So referrals will be big. If you've been doing what you should be doing for the past couple years, or maybe in the past couple months, this is a good time to start asking for referrals. And I think this will be big because we're moving into like microclimate, right? We're running into recession. We're running into people being weary about things. So if you could outbound and get people's trust with referrals, that's a good way of going about it as well. But these are my initial insights. This is like where my head's at. Curious how people feel if I'm off. They feel the same. That's like where I'm at with it.
Well, I think you're not wrong about any of that. What's interesting to me is I've seen more founders say things like, how can I get my team to cold call? They don't like it. And they tell me things like cold calling is dead. Like the rise of cold calling is dead. It's being buoyed by the fact that Apple says you're a telemarketer. Apple says you're spam likely, right?
Yep.
So that means connect rates go down. Now, back in the day, dude, it was Dun & Bradstreet and ZoomInfo, and that's like where you got your data, and that's like freaking it. Now there's 17 companies, 25 companies that are selling you data. So if you're a sales leader and you're not very plugged into like what's new and what's next with like the tech stack, you're getting bombarded left, right, and sideways saying, this platform's going to do everything you need. This platform's got everything you need. Leading AI. And you're like, whoa, what? I just want more pipeline, right?
That's it. Like, I just want to keep this super simple.
Yeah. How do I get in front of people that I don't know? Because marketing has been wasting my budget. Now I need to get in front of people I don't know to potentially sell them solutions to problems. How do I do that? Like, I hear that a lot. People come to me saying, Kevin, like what actually works? I get that. Do you ever get that saying? People say like, I can scale the crap out of it if it works, man. Like, I just need something that works. I'm like, well, I wish there was a short answer.
Yeah, because it's such a contextual piece.
Brian, how you doing? Kevin with Silver Sky here. Did I catch you at the second? Fantastic. Well, Brian, I'm with a company called Silver Sky Technologies. The reason I was reaching out, we specialize in helping businesses like yours develop a proactive cybersecurity posture. And we totally understand. We get it. Most businesses have something in place when it comes to cybersecurity, but we're also hearing a lot of really consistent challenges when it comes to the visibility folks have into their program, or the bandwidth of their internal staff to handle things like remediation, respond to threats on time. Any of this resonating with you, Brian? Totally. Hey, Brian, I understand you're not the decision maker. I have you down as, okay, you're involved in knowledge management in the IT department, right? Okay. Do you know if you were me and you were trying to have an educated conversation with someone at Peapod about cybersecurity, who would you reach out to? Okay, last question for you, Brian. Do you guys manage cybersecurity in-house exclusively, or are you leaning on a third party, like a managed cybersecurity provider? Do you know? Interesting. Okay. Awesome. Well, Brian, thank you for the call and have a great rest of your day. Wow. Okay. So this guy crept into my list. Of course, this list is full of directors and like managers, and this guy is the knowledge manager. So if you search IT manager, it comes up.
Mm-hmm.
So when I think knowledge manager, I'm thinking this guy probably runs their like internal wiki or their knowledge base around what to do with IT problems. which is like, who knew that was something that someone did all day, every day? Because the first thing he said was, "Oh, I'm not involved in cybersecurity at all." So then I go, "Okay, if you were me and you're trying to talk cybersecurity, who should you talk to?" And he's like, "I don't know."
Yep.
Then I say, "Okay, well, just tell me about what you guys are doing in the broadest sense." We back all the way out and say, like, "How are you doing cybersecurity?" And he's like, "I have no clue." So
yeah,
he
probably is straight information, nothing to do, like you said, with security at all.
And it didn't sound like he was being like disingenuous. He sounded very like, "Yeah, I'm not sure, man. I have no idea." I'm like, all right, well.
I feel like people like that are probably in silos, so he genuinely has no idea.
Yeah. Which is wild. It'll always be wild to me. Like, look, I'm not the one who makes a decision to purchase a CRM, but if someone called me and said, like, who do I talk to about the CRM? I can tell them who to talk to, right?
Yeah. Like, it's like, why are you so like detached from your entire organization? Like, what's going on? That's what happens, though.
You should plug in and pay attention.
I mean, I like the fact you at least you said a recommend piece. I think at least you could get some referral, even if it's probably not going to go anywhere. And
so what I was training SDRs is like, okay, you're not the guy. Who is? Okay, you don't know who is. Now let's just go straight. Inspector Gadget. Clue finding mission, fact finding mission. Like, what can you tell me about the organization that I don't know today? And with Silver Sky, there are basically like two buckets that any one of their prospects falls into, which is we handle cybersecurity in-house or we outsource to a partner like Silver Sky.
Yeah.
And then we go after like that. So interesting. But back to our idea around what's new and what's next for cybersecurity. What are your thoughts on artificial intelligence as it relates to what we?
That's a deep one. That's like a 30-minute one. I'm pretty sure everyone has probably seen ChatGPT at this point. If you haven't, you actually have been under a rock or have not had any Wi-Fi. I'm curious if anyone in here listening in has used ChatGPT for anything sales related. If you have, yes or no, let us know. I think it's great as an accelerant to really put your ideas out there, maybe even think of like a template or whatever it is. And I'm not saying spam templates, so that's what I'm saying. But I think it's a good accelerant to be like, okay, I'm thinking this, like, let me see what it could come up with. However, I just genuinely don't think that like AI is going to replace sales, because I asked to write it to write a cold email, and it's terrible. It's awful. Like, I've asked it to write it a lot of different things, and it's not good. The cold call framework, the cold email, a cold video, anything, it just doesn't do that well. I think it's good to like be like, hey, find me some facts, find me some information. It can find those really quick. So from a research standpoint, you could get a ton of information on a company without having to do any research. So that's actually what it really helps. But I actually think if this is an accelerant at the end of the day, it's not going to inhibit you. Now, here's the thing. If you decide not to skill up and you become lazy and you're just chilling and you're like, yeah, it's going to replace you. like that will happen. That's why you got to skill up.
Ira? Hello? Hold on. I thought that connected me to a live person. Let's see. Hello? Great. Never mind. False alarm.
Oh, man. I thought we had somebody.
I was hoping we had somebody. I think AI, like I posted about this the other day, and the sad truth is I think AI will replace a lot of sales development jobs.
From an outbound or inbound perspective, or just overall?
Oh, both. Like, if you think about what is the actual job of sales development, it's like the most, it's like the, I see sales development today, like, oh, that was really weird. I got connected to a guy and he said, "It's your turn to talk in 3, 2, 1." And then a beep, and it was his voicemail box.
That's a throw off.
Yeah, you got to hate when people do that when they have the weird voicemail boxes. So the reason. So here's my metaphor. I'm gonna pause my dialogue for a second because this is like, and I want people to really think about this, right? Because I see sales development today, and I'm very entrenched in this, working with a bunch of companies and do all stuff, advising companies. Sales development today, we are still as frontline sales development reps. We're a little bit like builders were in the 1940s and 50s, 30s, 40s, and 50s. So if it's 1951, and you're trying to build a house, you got to use a construction company, right? And the construction company is going to say, all right, cool. Like we've got the schematics, we have the wood, I got the nails. I'm going to bring 14 dudes to come in, and the 14 dudes are going to like hold the board up against the other board, and one guy's going to go like this. And they're going to do that across the entire structure of the house all day. Yeah. And that's what they're going to do. And those 14 guys are thinking to themselves, like, I did a good day's work today. I pounded those nails. They're going home at night and they're saying, honey, did a good job at work today. I did good work. And they were doing things that you could only do by hand.
Yeah.
All of a sudden, in like the 60s and the 70s, pneumatic nail gun gets created. A jackhammer gets created.
Yeah.
A bulldozer shows up and they go, oh my God, someone's going to do what we were doing. And now all of a sudden, when we had 15 dudes that would walk onto the lot every morning saying, I work hard as a construction worker and I'm pounding my nails, and there ain't no nail gun going to pound nails the way I do. Right. Like that's where sales development is. We are saying ain't no robot going to sell like that. Yeah, dude. Like a lot of sales development is nailing nails. It is sending emails. It is making phone calls. It is manual.
In the grind.
It is grind. It is that manual, like, and that's what I love about it is that it's like the hard work, like, you know, keep dialing. Ain't nobody going to do this but us. But I do believe that software is going to do to sales development what nail guns and technology did to the construction industry.
I mean, you already see it when you go to Publix, self-checkout. Yeah. Like I don't even go to the register. I don't know. It might sound bad. I don't know, but I don't. I'm going to self-checkout. Boom, I'm out. I don't want to talk to somebody. Over. Right. So
and you can have one guy who watches 9 registers, you know?
I think inevitably, like, and I've been obviously a huge proponent. I've been an SDR, like inevitably I don't think there's going to be a rise of sales development, more people. It will be less. I think it will be actually more specialized. And if you are a specialized sales development person, I think you have it's a possibility if you use AI right. So the question though comes into, based on what you're saying, what percentage would you say? Like 80% of sales development organizations will just reduce, and there'll only be like 20% of people who are going to be elite at this, and then AI just takes over. Like, I only have 3 SDRs, and then AI handles the rest. And they're enterprise only SDRs.
So the thing that I saw about Chat GPT, and I believe it's for the next one that's coming up, right?
Oh, have you seen the infographic of that?
The graphic of it's like this, right? It's like this.
Oh, y'all, have y'all seen this?
That, right?
Oh,
and I guess that's really hard to see, but everybody needs to go look at this, right? And what it is it's a graphic that shows this is the amount of human transcription that went into Chat GPT-3. This is the amount of human transcription that's going into 4, which is like 1 billion times more. So when I see that and I'm like, holy crap, we're not about to just like, it's not about to just go like this. It's about to go like that. Then I think, dude, like you could run an entire sales development function with like 5 bot type people, Kevin at whatever, and I'm sending emails and I'm sending DMs and I have a picture on LinkedIn, and then you can automate phone calls too. Like one person could probably operate 8 channels worth of things. So I think that this sort of multiplication of Chat GPT and of the evolution of AI will just make it so 80 to 90% of sales development people are simply irrelevant.
How
like you have value.
So how long?
How long until then?
Yeah. How long do these people have?
I think you still got 5 to 7 years until that really happens, because the tools need to get to a point that anyone can operate them. And that's not the case, right? Like today, and to Lauren's point, today, you still got to operate the tools. And the tools are not easy. But if I'm listening to this and I'm tuning in, I'm watching Morgan and Kevin talking about this, I am saying to myself, yo, I got to get really good at the human aspect of sales. I got to get really good at the human aspect of sales. Like if you make all of your money on automation, where you're just sending a ton of emails and you don't actually have to talk to somebody, you don't really understand negotiating, you don't understand how to overcome objections, you got to get really talented. And then on the other side of that, you got to get really good at the tools. You got to know how to work the fuck out of your tools. Part of my language. But like if you don't understand how to do almost an admin level of every tool at your disposal, then slowly but surely you're gonna get left behind, you know? And I don't know, like, dude, this is gonna be a scary time. Like, my daughter's 2 years old. Like, what is the job market gonna look like in 16 years when she's 18 years old and she goes to get her first job? My first job, I was a cashier, dude. You just talked about it. That's not gonna be a job. It's not gonna be a job.
It's not. Self-checkouts and robots. Like, I'm not even trying to do less is what it's going to be. You're absolutely correct. I think you really have to identify sales, right? You really have to identify getting better at this skill and really honing and locking in. And look, I think Jason was talking about him playing around with ChatGPT. I'm not trying to give homework assignments, but like I would spend like 30 to 45 minutes a day on ChatGPT just to understand like what's happening. Because the more you can skill up and then also understand AI, you're going to continuously level up where things are going. I don't think you could just be like, oh, yeah, like AI's cool. It'll be whatever. You're going to get blindsided. You got to understand that, like, you got to skill up and you also have to understand AI. And that might sound like daunting, but like you said, it's just where we're going. Like, it's crazy. ChatGPT is crazy when you like actually see it. It's like, this is pretty crazy.
And it's what the thing that's crazy about it is so much of technology and innovation has evolved the button pressing and the hammering and the movement of objects from one place to another. And these physical feats of, okay, we don't need someone to say your total is $98, $100 bill, grab all the pennies and nickels and hand it to you. So that's a physical thing. Why ChatGPT is blowing people's minds? It's mimicking a brain. It's mimicking something that's not a physical thing. It's not, I am nailing nails faster. It's I'm thinking faster than you.
Yeah. Insane. And it's like inputs are crazy. And Jason's dropping some heat here. My friend actually tweeted this the other day and he was like, don't be shocked when they rug pull us. Yeah, they're gonna charge like $50 a month in the next couple of weeks. So I'm telling people, I mean, you can still pay for that. They will. If you don't want to pay for that, I would be spending more time than I just told you on ChatGPT because you can get a lot of free inputs right now. But yeah, they're gonna start charging soon. Like,
I'm back
don't think that's like happening. Oh, I thought you were down the whole entire time.
No, I had to pause because I wanted to get really into that. I didn't want to be interrupted.
Oh, okay.
Oh, hey, is this Hazim? Yeah, my name's Kevin. I'm with a company called Silver Sky Technologies. Did I catch you with a minute to have a quick conversation, or are you heads down on something? Yeah, I don't know if you've ever heard the name Silver Sky. We've been around for over 20 years. Used to be traded publicly on the stock market, but now we're private again. We have cybersecurity technology. Do you have a minute? I can ask you a quick question, or are you busy? Of course. I mean, Hazim, like if you were interested, you probably would have called me, right? But I'm calling you. Okay, so can I let me give you my spiel, and you tell me at the end of my spiel if I'm like barking up the wrong tree or if we should never talk again. Is that fair? Awesome. So we specialize in helping businesses develop a proactive cybersecurity posture. Now, we understand everybody's got something in place. They either are working on it in-house or they've outsourced the function. But we're also hearing really consistent challenges when it comes to the visibility that folks like yourself have into their cybersecurity program, and really just the bandwidth of your internal staff to handle remediation, respond to threats on time, things like that. Hazim, any of this resonating? Any of this sound familiar? So So you guys outsource, and that therefore none of it's like important to you, or internally you have a staff of anywhere from. Okay. Okay. Well, I guess the one thing, Hazim, that I wanted to run by you, and let me know if you have something like this in place already. We purchased a Israeli company almost 2 years ago now called Cybraics. Now, Cybraics is doing things in the MDR space. Do you have an MDR platform you're leveraging today? Manage detection and respond. Okay, so Cybraics is evolved on that concept. It's actually using artificial intelligence to go beyond your physical endpoints. A lot of folks like yourself that are using an existing platform, when they see Cybraics for the first time, they say things like, wow, didn't know this was possible. This is incredible. But I don't know, Hazim. You might have something in place that's working perfectly well for you today and wouldn't want to waste your time looking at anything else, unless maybe there's an idea that there could be something else out there that could be providing that extra added layer of security going beyond what you're doing today. You tell me. Awesome. Hazim, have a great rest of your day. Wow. Through every baseball in the bucket, Adam.
Yeah, it sounds like he was throwing a lot. What was the breakdown there?
So, senior manager of IT. This guy's like the guy. So he stopped me out the gate, and at a spot where probably a lot of SDRs will get caught up. And the first thing he said was, yeah, I'll hear you out, but I'll let you know I'm probably not interested. So where did I go with that? Immediately, I went to joke.
Yeah.
Why joke?
You have to.
Because it makes him feel kind of silly for saying that without knowing what I'm talking about. So I'm like, you would have called me. And he giggled a little bit back in my ear. Perfect, right? Now
exactly
I have
what we want.
He leaned forward a little bit. I was like, all right, yeah, what do you got? Yeah, what are you doing? I give him my spiel, and he says, no, none of this resonates with me, which is a cop-out because he's doing one or the other, right? He's either running it in-house or he's outsourcing. Mm-hmm. So instead of just taking what he said at face value, I went deeper. So that deeper comment was, oh, so you're outsourcing the whole thing, so you don't care. No. We don't outsource. Oh, you don't outsource. You're internal. And then once I established he was running it internally, he felt very confident in the technology stack he already has. No problems, nothing going on, right? But guess what, SDRs and everybody else out there making cold calls? If you call and exclusively ask if someone's on fire, the answer is going to be no 98% of the time.
Yeah.
Right? So we have to be able to try and open his mind. So that's where I pivoted a little bit and went to Cybraics, which is kind of like the feather in the cap that like Silver Sky has. But what do you think? What do you think about my conversational tone there? Should I have been more serious at some points or?
So now that I have the context, I do like when someone does it, you have to do a joke because you have to create levity. I think that's absolutely important.
Levity, that's the word.
And
write that down.
And then write it down. So then once you have levity, it then allows for a level playing field to then go move forward, which what you did. I would have gone a different direction. When people say they're all set, I like to just ask them, okay, like I like to go like in curious, like inquisitive mode. And I like to be like, oh, great. Like, hey, look, I talk to people like all day long. Hey, I know I called you out the blue. Like, I'm super curious. Like, what do you like about your tech stack? Like, what's in it? So then now what I'm trying to do is just gather information and gather clues. And what I've realized is a lot of people just like to talk about things that they like or they enjoy. And also, he probably mentioned a couple of the tools that are in that stack, and he probably feels proud of it. So I want to just understand what he's liking and what's going on. And then, like, I might throw in there and be like, hey, I hear you like all this stuff. Like, this might not be the case. Like, are you looking to, like, an improvement anyway? So I make it seem, like, unassuming, super curious. I don't really know if it's the case. And then sometimes people do say, you know what, hey, I want to improve in this area. And then now I can move forward. The whole goal is that I just mentioned that they like something. So I think up until the point that you had, I would have done what you did.
Yeah.
I would have pivoted and asked him what he liked about what he was doing. I don't know if I would have brought up like, hey, this is what we recently implemented, et cetera. I wouldn't even brought it up yet, but that's me.
No, I like that. I like that angle a lot. I'm going to try that on the next one for sure. One of the unique challenges that I have found with this company and cybersecurity companies in general,
of course,
is well, what are you doing today? If you like ask the open-ended question, they're technically like a bad cybersecurity professional if they tell you what they're doing for cybersecurity.
Yeah.
So, and we run into that all the time. Like, I don't know if the Silver Sky SDRs chime in the comments. I saw that you guys were attending the event at some point, but like they run into that all the time where people are like, oh, well, I can't tell you anything about what we're doing for cybersecurity. And that actually means they're doing a good job. Like cybersecurity training tells you not to tell anybody what you're doing. It's a little bit like the prison guard being like, oh yeah, we've got 2 walls with concertina wire on them and
camera in the back.
We have a pin code system and it's a 4-digit pin. I'm not going to tell you what it is though. It's like, well, dude, you're telling me a lot. Like I can kind of hack your environment now. So, but I feel you. I'm going to try that on the next one.
Could you? Yeah, we could talk about that until you go to the next one. Like, I guess could you call it out and like mention some things that they have? Yeah, that's a good point. I'm trying to think of how do you.
So I kind of did that where I asked him if he has an MDR platform.
Yeah, you did. I remember that.
And I got him to say yes. And then when he says, "Hey, is this Richardo? Hello? Hey, is this Richardo? How you doing? Kevin here, Silver Sky Technologies. Did I catch you with a minute to have a cold conversation with a stranger, or are you heads down, something else, can't talk at all?" Of that, what's on the menu today? We going like chicken wings, or we going like salad, or somewhere in between? Somewhere in between. Love that. Okay, so is it Ricardo or Richardo? I just want to get that right. Richardo. Okay, Richardo. I'm with a company called Silver Sky Technologies. I'll get right to the point, right? We help, we specialize in helping businesses a lot like yours develop a proactive cybersecurity posture. But we totally understand when we're having conversations like this, every business has something in place when it comes to cybersecurity, but we're hearing really consistent challenges. I hear these things all day from folks like yourself that are in the IT field. And the challenges are around visibility into your cybersecurity program, what's going on, when things are getting remediated, things like that. And on the other hand, the bandwidth of your internal staff, if you're a 1-man, 2-man, 3-man, 4-man show, to handle remediation and really respond to threats in real time. I'm curious, Richardo, any of these problems kind of resonate with you? Yeah. Uh-huh. Yeah. Yeah. Yep. Okay. So Richardo, let me ask, do you guys use a managed cybersecurity partner today? You guys outsourcing that function, or are you managing it totally? Okay. Okay. Yeah. Okay. For sure. That makes a lot of sense. Well, Richardo, you tell me if this makes any sense at all. But like last time I spoke to someone who had that mixture of inside and outside, what I was able to do is put them with a cybersecurity expert on my team who did a bit of an audit, a bit of an overview on your current environment and kind of a safety checklist of sorts to look at what you have going on right now and what we provide our customers at Silver Sky. We are a managed outsourced provider, but we don't always rip and replace the tools you have. A lot of the times we take over the admin of it, get you better pricing, get you a better solution or a better configuration in a way, and then allow you to sleep easier at night. We've got a lot of stuff in our wheelhouse. Next gen MXDR platform. We've got a 365, 24/7 SOC security center, right? Would you be open-minded to sitting down with one of the experts on my team later this week, maybe Thursday at 1:00? Okay. Totally. Okay. Yeah. Yeah. Oh yeah. No, I totally get that. Is this project involving cybersecurity, or this is all like internal system stuff? Yeah. So at the end of this project, you would think that cybersecurity would become kind of one of your next up consideration, right? And if we were to have this meeting now, it would just be pulling away. Like, I don't want to pull away from your resources, to your point, but I don't want to miss the window. What I've had happen before, Richardo, is people say like, look, I'm so swamped, I can't even possibly do this. And then I follow up exactly when they tell me to follow up, and they say, oh yeah, we dealt with that the week after you called. And because of X, Y, and Z thing. Okay. Yep. 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 Wow. Yeah. Yep. Okay. So Richardo, I'm gonna do this. I have a member on my team that is going to be working kind of your territory and companies like yours. So I'm going to hand him your contact information. So don't. So someone's going to reach out from Silver Sky, and he's going to send you some information. You can chew on this, take it as you will. It's a little too far out to schedule time. I don't want to put like my sales, the team's time on the line when it's over a month out. So why don't we do this? I will follow up with you. I'm gonna have my rep follow up with you closer to March, and we will see how that project went, and we'll have that conversation then. everything you just talked about, Ricciardo, is exactly what we do, by the way, which is interesting. You talked about the idea of, okay, is there cost savings? If there's not real cost savings, is there value? What is the value? If it's going to be outsourced, is it going to give you back time? That's actually our exact process. So you're going to want to have this conversation. So I'm going to follow up with you. The team's going to follow up with you then. Sound good? Oh, yeah. Yeah. We are a global company, so I'm not worried about that in any way. That's the good news. All right, Ricciardo, I got to run, but I will catch you later in February. All right, cheers. Holy cow! Wow.
Okay. Okay.
That was wild. If you
sounded wild, but
yeah, if you are watching this and you want to hear the entire other side of that audio, tune into the podcast. We got 2 podcast episodes coming out next week of Morgan and I chopping it up. You're going to hear both sides of the audio. It's a compliance thing why we can't show the audio. I know that made for a terrible live show to have a 7-minute empty space there. But Ricciardo basically went on and on about how he's in the middle of a big project right now. And if he wasn't like the guy, and he seems like he's the guy, I would have like tried to get a referral to someone else. But then he went into exactly like he laid it all out. He's like, hey, after this project, I want to know if we're going to save pricing, if there's value, like what we're getting out of it, why should we outsource? Like, dude, literally the checklist of things that anyone goes over on a discovery call for cybersecurity. So I was like, okay, cool. Like, hot lead at the right time. But timing is a huge part of outbound. Would you agree?
Massive. I think that's what I think a lot of people don't understand. Like, you could have the best email, the best pitch, the best video, but sometimes people aren't ready, and they might remember you when they are ready, but sometimes they're just not ready. It doesn't matter what you do. So you just got to put it up to the game. That's what I say.
Put it up to the game. Big fan of that idea. So I'm going to make sure that we follow up here by putting this in my little Teams chat for my team. Doopa-doopa-doo. Awesome. So follow-ups. Let's talk about that because I'm making sure we follow up with this guy, and this is like a hot follow-up. What's your favorite way to follow up with someone where it's not like that guy didn't just shove me off, where it's like calling back in 2 or 3 days? How, like, what would your tactic be to make sure when I call Ricciardo again or when I reach out to him again that he remembers Kevin? Like, what would you be doing?
What was I need some context to give you the right answer. So what was his thing that what was the reason he's not meeting with you? Was it because he's working on projects, he's not the guy, and there was someone else? Or
he is the guy.
He is the guy.
He's like, but I have so much going on. And then to reassure me, he spent the last 4 minutes of that call telling me what he wants to learn from me on the call in March. Like, in depth. Like, that was minutes long, him talking about, like, and one of the other things he said, one of the other things that he said that was really interesting is he said, the reason I don't want to put this on my calendar now, I've brought up cybersecurity to my leadership, but we have not had a breach. Have not had a breach, have not had a problem. And he said, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. I'm like, ooh, you're right. But you got to think proactive. So anyways, so that's the scenario. What would you say?
This is advice for everyone that is listening in on what you can do to make sure that you could do what I would do. But then in this scenario, I'll give like exactly what it is as well. So the first thing is, there's 2 questions that I always ask when this happens. One is, how do I make sure that I'm not an annoying sales rep up until March? And then 2 is, what exactly should I be sending you to keep you top? To basically, what exactly can I send to you that's going to be top of mind without me just following up with information you don't care about? So it's all about just like, what exactly does this person want? How do I follow up? How do I not be annoying? That's what I'm doing. Now, in this scenario, now that it's like, okay, we're in March, what I would do, because you don't have the context per se, I would just be sharing things that are case studies that you have in that industry, whoever you were talking to. I would be sending him those things. Hey, as a senior manager, here's a couple things that we've been seeing. And I would do that on a bi-weekly cadence because it's not until March. I'd be doing it as a bi-weekly cadence. I would just say, hey, here's some information. That's it. Share with your team, but I'm not going to ask for a meeting. I'm not going to push you. I'm just like keeping you on a drip, but it's a sales contextual drip. It's not like, hey, here's this newsletter. It's like, no, here's a thing that for you. This is like for you. It's not for everybody else.
Yeah, contextual. It's interesting. Yeah, so he was in the hospitality space. So I think some hospitality specific case studies would be important there.
Because that call is going to be better, right? Because it's like, okay, I've seen that you've been working with people in my space. You kept top of mind. Now, when I get on this call, I already know you've helped people. So the sales call should actually be better because now he's even more informed than if you were to talk to him tomorrow.
Yeah, and it's not just, I think one of the things that sales development people get hung up on is this idea that I'm just trying to get in front of people. I'm just trying to get you to show up to the call. Dude, like context is everything.
Yep.
There's the volume game of, okay, I get people to show up to meetings, but there's also the quality game, which if you're a real sales development pro, depending on your comp plan, like pipeline should be somewhere involved in that, meaning you are bought into the idea that I don't just want a meeting with this guy to say he showed up. I want to be able to say he showed up, here's what he's working on, here's the industry, and he knows that we do this. Because that
exactly
is a much better sales conversation.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
exactly.
All right, well, we've got 2 minutes left. I might jump in the queue here. Let's see if I get it connected in the next minute. But if not, we're going to call it a day. Morgan, do you want to tease a little bit of what you're working on next? Do you have anything to share with the class? Or do you want
to... yeah, I can tease a little bit. So
I was looking for Becky. Hey, Becky. Sorry about that. Kevin here with Silver Sky Technologies. Did I catch you at the second to have a cool conversation? Becky? Wait, hold on. She hung up. But this is a big company. Let's see if she picks up. That was kind of chaos. I'm sorry about that, Morgan. Okay,
no, you're good.
She sent me right to voicemail. All right, whatever. We'll stop dialing for the day. I'm gonna get Becky another time.
I thought you had it. I thought this was it. This is gonna be the home run hit to hit off the.
Okay. All right. So enough of the random interruptions with dialing. What do you have going next? Let's talk about you for a minute.
Yeah. So I'm in the building phase of what is core to me. So what I'm focused on right now is there are services and things that I will be doing, but what I'm really focused on, and you'll see in the next, couple months, from here on forward, is the root of something that I call like evolution. So everything that I'm revolving around is like, how do you help people evolve? Whether that's in marketing, whether that's in sales, even your growth mindset. That's essentially like what I'm building, because my whole thing right now is not just what do I want to do for the next 2-3 years. It's like, what do I want to do the next like 10-15 years? So I've been being more like intentional and thoughtful in this time, because I'm thinking like, what's going to ride me through those next, decade. Right. And for me, I've seen my career, and through being an SDR, through my content, it's always been about like innovation. But what it's really been about is evolving. Like I get into something, I don't really know it, but I evolve. Like SDR, I sucked. When I first was a trainer at JV Sales, I wasn't good. So like but I learned along the way to evolve, and I want to be able to guide people in the same way. So my first iteration, that will be around marketing and help on the influencer path. And I'll like talk about that more as I get into it, but it really is around how do you help people evolve? How do I help myself evolve? And then coming on that journey along with me, that's going to be what the whole company is going to be about. But essentially there will be services and like products that are coming out of that piece.
Awesome. Love that. If you are not following Morgan Ingram, I don't know what you're doing. You should be. Please follow Morgan. Tune into the podcast to hear both sides of the audio on that really long call. Almost got a meeting, had a really good follow-up. But Morgan, we reached time today. Thank you so much for coming on Hop on Calls. Next time you're making calls, though. Next time
I'm making calls. So if you're listening in, you watch the replay, or if you're alive, I will be coming back and making calls. I know a lot of people have been like, "Yo, when is we're gonna make calls?" I'm gonna actually make calls, so we're gonna make it fun. So, but it was good to hang out here. We got some connects, we had some good conversations, and I appreciate you having me, man.
Absolutely, Morgan. Anytime, man. Cheers.
All right, cheers.